Hello everyone, my name is Andrea Mason, your personal accountability coach, global certified motivational speaker under the mentorship of Mr. Les Brown. Today's video is going to be a little bit longer because I'd like to put credit where credit due. For see, when you are a leader, the best leaders in the world remember where they came from. They remember the trials and tribulations that got them there. I had connected with the world's legendary motivational speaker, Mr. Les Brown. I enrolled in his academy, and the eve of this day, a year ago today, I was able to begin my journey. Prior to this journey, I had always knew that there was more to me than meets the eye. Transformers reference to those fans out there. I believed I could do more. I believed I could be more. However, my inner circle, my external influences, and even my subconscious mind wouldn't allow me to excel. I always did my best in the areas of employment dedicating over 2 decades of my life to the industries that of social work and psychology, along with the realms of the medical, holistic, wellness, and motivational fields. But I was working for someone else. I was fulfilling their dreams on their terms, with their limitations and boundaries. Although I was a diligent worker and always did my best, I felt there was more for me to do. I had a bigger calling. I had a bigger mission, and my messages and stories needed to be heard. I made the investment during the shutdown. I wasn't sure if I was able to do this. Our funds were limited at the time due to a world in complete chaos. But this was my time. This was the epic moment that I can bring everything to life of what I've studied, what I've learned, and what I've experienced. As Mr. Brown said, it was a long shot. I too, with my story, was a long shot. I came from an underdeveloped country during the war-torn drug zone era at its prime, during the cartel of Colombia, South America. My parents had to make the ultimate sacrifice and put me up for adoption. And in doing so, they sent me to the promised land, where I was welcomed with open arms and unconditional love into a healthy, wealthy American family. I still remember to this day resounding in my ear as my parents had said that I was their treasure. But unbeknownst to them, years later, I realized it was a tragedy. I had no medical records. I had no photographs of who my parents were, or where I came from, or what they looked like. Who was the reflection in the mirror, I would say. And being a victim of abuse of all kinds, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and being bullied every single day by my peers during my elementary, high school, and collegiate years. I didn't fit in. And this tragedy was I had no identity. If my parents couldn't love me, how could I love myself? And it wasn't until the later years when my adoptive parents, allowed me to open the records. And it was noted that my parents would never reclaim me again in the legal, blunt terms. I had closure. I had realized my biological parents, have given me a second chance in life. I came to America weighing in at 11 pounds at 11 months old. Imagine that. That's a pound per month. But somehow I made it. I realized that there was something more for me to do. As I evolved and developed and studied social work and psychology, I understood the social diversities, the cultural diversities, and I understood the different ways that people lived, their different morals, ethics, backgrounds, and beliefs and lifestyles. And through the studies of psychology, I was able to understand the science behind why people do what they do and why they don't do what they do, based on nurturance and nature. And once I found my calling, I was able to be me. I began loving myself and believing myself. I could have given up. I could have given up when I came to America. I could have given up when I was thrown into trash cans and shoved into lockers. I could have given up when I was an outcast and eat my lunch in the bathroom stalls just to break away from the stress and toxicity of my peers. I had to work 10 times harder just to get by in my elementary, grade school, and high school years. But in my collegiate years, I put my passion to the paper. And I was able to enroll in different companies to give back to individuals. From infantry to geriatrics, from meeting people on the streets, institutionalized and incarcerated for heinous crimes. But what separated me from my colleagues, I put the papers aside. I spoke to the individual at heart. This was someone's daughter or son. This was someone's father or mother. This was someone who was lost and had limited knowledge, limited support, and barely understanding. And then I propelled into my wellness career and motivation. I understood how to empower individuals, how to love individuals, and how to see, although our stories are different, we still have the same chapters. Love, loss, fear, abandonment, depression, anxiety. And some of us may read the chapter of our celebrations and wins. Then the world shut down. What was I going to do? I'm used to failing, but as Mr. Brown says, if you fall on your back, look up so you can get up. My company closed. What was I going to do? And I came across Mr. Brown's live video. You're the one. You have greatness in you. And Mr. Brown, as you said to Mr. Washington, I am the one. I enrolled in your class and was in the alumni class, and I graduated December 9th, 2020. And I am proud to say, Mr. Brown, in a year's time, from enrollment to your academy, I have been on TV, radio, and I have spoken on every continent in this world, empowering individuals, and have held my own global workshops, connected with people beyond borders, found my family beyond the waters. Who would have thought? Who would have thought a fellow adoptee, Mr. Brown, coming from nothing, is using my voice, my message, my story to continue to build my legacy with love. I remember in 2015 when the loss of my mother has haunted me for 8 years. And I suppressed my emotions because I had to do a service to others. I had to be there for everyone else. But as you said, Mr. Brown, coincidences are God's way of being anonymous. And I was rushed to the hospital, hooked up to ICU unit, hooked up onto machines, unwilling and unable to breathe, unable to use my limbs unable to digest food. I was hospitalized for a week. They ran a series of tests and was able to find anything. At one point, they had stated there was a possibility and a diagnosis of myasthenia gravis. And for those of you who don't know, that is the Graves' disease of the shutdown of the autoimmune system. And I remember speaking to my husband on the phone that evening and him saying, "We need you home. We love you." We recalled about the excerpt, spoiler alert, of the Law of Attraction for the health section. And I applied that teaching. The next morning, I draped my feet over the bed, hospital bed. The team was ready, and they said, "Okay, Andrea, this is your time. If you are unable to walk and hold down food, your stay will be until further notice. If you are able to do so and maintain food, you may be discharged." I remember the power in me that I draped my feet over, jumped down from the hospital bed because of my petite stature, and I walked to the nurse's station and back. I'll never forget their faces. And they said, "You've accomplished and achieved success. You have been deemed a clear medical bill of health and you are free for discharge." I remember my father and my friend picking me up upon discharge as my husband was at work and our son was at school. And I remember going to pick up my son and I hid in the back seat. We picked him up from school. He came in and I said, "Hello." He turned around and he said, "Mommy, it was like Christmas. I prayed last night that you could come home. I love you and I'm so happy you're home." And he put his hand in my hand and didn't let go until the end of the car ride. I had set the course and made a conscious decision that I was going to be better. I was going to be healed. That my message and story needs to be heard because I believed in me. I followed my heart and not the herd. And on the other side, I found happiness and success. And I'm happy to say I have a thriving business, coaching as your personal accountability coach in Press Play, Plan Life According to You. I now took the pen in my own hand to my story and began writing. The time is now. The time is yours. You're still here. You still have a purpose and a mission to achieve, to accomplish. And I'm here to let you know and remind you, as my mentor, Mr. Les Brown, it's possible. It's possible. I have been able to also within the year conduct over 300 videos on YouTube. I have been able within the year to connect, meet, and work with Mr. Brown. And I have been within the year to find my family beyond borders and my inner circle of OQP, only quality people who believed in me and who've shown me the word impossible is just that. I'm possible. I thank you, Mr. Brown, for you and your family, for believing in me, for telling me to dream big, 11 pounds of greatness. Who knew? And now, Mr. Brown, the world knows because of you. I ask you, who's listening, watching now and on playback, take a chance. Take the risk. Take the leap of faith and follow your heart and not the herd. As my friend says, my brain, I call him. Trust the process. Believe in yourself. And don't stop. Don't stop. Because the world needs you now. And I'm here extending my hand of gratitude and appreciation and welcome your connection for you to live your dreams. Who would have thought within a year, this woman, never in the public eye before October 2020, never spoke on camera, and always worked behind the scenes, is now a certified global motivational speaker, has connected, has worked and met with the guru, the leader, the legendary motivational speaker, Mr. Les Brown, and has spoken on every continent around this world. I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and know that I'm here, and I welcome your connection. My name is Andrea Mason, creator and innovator of Press Play, Plan Life According to You, bringing you daily content every single day. Te amo. Thank you. Be well, my friends. And know, as a woman of integrity and passion and empowerment, I am here. Te amo.